Morning everybody, and welcome to another episode of Propel's Virtual Garage. I know it's been a while, but I'm back. Things have been a little bit crazy here, but I want to bang out in the next few days, I want to bang out a couple of quick short tutorials just for little things that people have been asking about. Today's is going to be how to assemble and reassemble a shock, disassemble and reassemble a shock absorber for, I know a lot of people, sometimes you're loosening that ring trying to get that shock looser and you don't know where the thread ends and the ring comes off. I'll show you how to get that back on real quick. It's very easy. So without any further ado, let's get right into it, and I'll move the camera around and we'll get you a better angle and we'll get that shock off and show you how that's done. So the first thing we're going to want to do is take the whole suspension right off of the board. We do that by simply removing that center bolt, which is a, nope, those are the wrong ones, which are a 6mm and a 4mm Allen head wrench. 6 in the front, 4 in the back, and just loosen those up. Okay, take the little screw out of the back. This is a barrel bolt that runs through with a little screw on the back side, which is the 4mm. That's what I'm taking off now. Here, I'll flash and get you a quick picture of that. Okay, so we take that screw off, put that there, all right, put that aside, someplace where you won't lose it. Then I like to take my little hammer, little plastic hammer, a little rubber hammer, and I take this 6mm and I put it back in the hole on the back side and just tap that bolt through. Just helps you get that bolt out a little quicker. Okay? When you pull this bolt out, the whole suspension is going to want to drop. The board is strapped in. Okay? Pull that out, and that whole suspension comes right off. Alrighty? Now let's move over to the bench and I'll show you how to take the shock apart. Okay, now we have it on the bench. I like to prop mine up. I just use assorted blocks of wood because otherwise it wants to roll around on the tires. It's a pain in the butt. So, next thing we'll need is our two 5mm wrenches. May have noticed I like to use hand tools on parts like this. If I'm taking a deck on or off, those 12 screws, then I'll use power tools. But for something like these screws here, I like to use hand tools. So 2 5mm gets this out. Okay, get that screw out, put it aside. Punch that barrel bolt out the other side. Okay, and now your shock is free to come out. Okay. Now you have your loosened up nut here that came off, right? So you slide that up to the top, then you slide the spring up to the top, and then you reach down here and you grab this little plate, okay? Now remember how it was when you took it out. A lot of people like to sit it like this, thinking it's like a dish that the spring would sit in. It's not. The hump goes up, okay, and gets put back in like that. Okay, so once you have that out, you simply just lower the shock. Now you have the room to get this started. All right, so get that thread started. You just want to get it started. You don't want to tighten it yet. Just get it started. And then you simply slide the spring back up, take your plate, just wedge it back in there. Okay, and tighten down that spring on it. Hold everything in place. Okay, that's that. And you just reassemble it. Let's tighten this down a little bit. Okay, slide that back in like that. Get it lined up. You can see even on the wood block, it's still tough to work on, but I got to come up with something better to hold this, but necessity is the mother of invention, right? So get this lined up. Whoops, a little too lined up. Okay. Bolt back in, and your screw back in. Tighten those down. Remember, you don't have to go crazy wrenching this stuff. It's just aluminum. Okay, so nice and tight. Let's go put it back on the board. Okay, so before I put the front end back on, again, I always preach this when I'm doing these videos, but anytime you have the board apart, gives you the opportunity to inspect parts you can't see as well before. So take a look underneath, check your bushing, make sure that's wearing fine, make sure everything looks intact in there. limiter looks good, everything looks good. Okay, so now let's get that suspension, put it back on. That up into place, this in there. Just give this a couple taps and wiggle it around. There we go. We're in. So bolt is in. Now we take our little screw onto the back. Just get that started. Eventually. Fat fingers here. Okay. And grab my 6 and my 4 again. And tighten those on down. That's it. We're good to go. Readjust this to where you want it. Again, don't back it off too far. And you're solid. So, another quick tutorial in the books. Short, sweet, easy. That's how you get the shock off. That's how you put it back together. That's how you get it back on. It's good to mark, like when you put that ring back on, take a look at where it lines up on the top of the shock so you know not to go past that. There's some lettering on the sticker that's right there. So try to make a mental note of where that ring lines up with the lettering on that sticker so you know not to go back past that. But that's it. That's it for today. I'll get back to you with another tutorial coming up soon. I'm going to start firing them out, little short, quick ones like this. But until the next one, I'm Russ Latonia from Siesta Key, Florida, home of the Propel North American Service Station. And have a good day, guys. Ride hard, ride safe, ride Propel.